Hello and welcome back. My name is Jessica Klimesh. I'm a creative writer, writing coach, and editor. So you've probably all heard of imposter syndrome, common among writers. My own imposter syndrome motivated me to earn 2 master's degrees, and it continues to motivate me to take classes, to learn more, to challenge myself, to get better at my craft. And it helps me consider new ideas and explore new ways of doing things, all of which are very positive. There are, of course, some negative aspects of imposter syndrome, and a lot of it is connected to perfectionism. Both imposter syndrome and perfectionist can impact writers, especially when it comes to submitting their work. But there are many ways it can rear its head and many different forms it can take, including the loss of confidence in one's ability to do their work. I'm going to focus a little bit more on perfectionism here, but I think these tips can be useful for both if you're struggling with perfectionism and imposter syndrome. So what does perfectionism feel like? Anxiety, fear, insomnia, a racing heart, chest pressure, a knot in your throat, a spinning mind, depression. There's lots of ways it can look. It doesn't have to look like that, or it doesn't have to feel like that, but it can. And for me, perfectionism often rears its head when I'm triggered with grief and reminders of things that sort of take me to that spot where I've spent a lot of time. Flare-ups of perfectionism can feed on themselves. That is to say, self-talk is very important. What you say to yourself, how you say it. So if you tell yourself that you're not any good at something, even if there's evidence to the contrary, it negatively impacts you and you start to believe what you're telling yourself. And if you're already prone to anxiety and panic attacks, it can create this loop of despair. Back in 2019, on my then blog, I wrote a post about perfectionism and how to handle it, what I've learned as a perfectionist, or a recovering perfectionist, as I like to call myself sometimes. And I've dug it up in hopes that you might find it useful as well. One of my first tips is do the best you can at that particular time. So we all can look back and say, I should have done this, I could have done that better, blah, blah, blah. But the only thing that matters is that point in time. If we're exhausted when we're trying to do something, we're not going to probably do it at our best, but we're doing it the best we can at that particular point in time. And that's very important to remember as a writer, because we improve as we go. We improve, we take classes. Perfectionists tend to take longer to complete tasks. That might not always be true. I know it's usually true for me. And part of that is just simply because they want it to be a certain way. They want it to be just so. We have to keep reminding ourselves that perfect is an illusion. Nothing is ever going to be perfect. And if you wait till everything is just right, you're going to miss opportunities to improve. So number 2, let go of the less important things. Not everything can go off without a hitch. Not everything is going to be just like you want it to do. This YouTube video is a case in point. It's not going to be the quality I want. It's not going to have everything that I want it to be. And this kind of goes back to number 1, it's as good as I can do at this point in time with how I am with my current knowledge. So maybe in a week or 2, I could do better. But we have to focus on what we can control at that point of time and let go of the things that really aren't that important. An example that I used in the 2019 blog was how when I was a kid, I wanted everything to match just perfect. My socks had to match my outfit. My shoes had to be just right. Everything had to be just right, or I would be in this feeling of despair, like I couldn't even go on with my life. I mean, it sounds really stupid now, but it was very important to me at that time as a kid. But now I realize, if my socks don't match, that's not really a big deal. It's not a big deal. And so we have to let go of these things that aren't that important anymore. Number 3, remember what matters to you. In the realm of writing coaching, I talk a lot about writing goals, what a particular writer's goals are, because this is very, very important. Everything about how you approach creativity and the writing process is based on what your goals are, and your goals are not going to be the same as mine. We're all individuals with different backgrounds and different experiences that all color what our goals are going to be and how we're going to approach something. So you want to stay true to yourself and not let somebody else decide what's important to you. And in writing, that means not letting somebody else tell you what your story is or what you want to say. You have to be true to yourself. Number 4, breathe, relax, de-stress. Life is hard. Whenever I find myself becoming a ball of stress, I have to remind myself that I need to get myself in a different place, a different state of mind. And I have to think about what's important to me. I spent about 4 years in a state of acute grief and depression and anxiety, and with it, stress. It took a toll on my body physically. And so when I find myself falling back into some of those old patterns, I have to step back and say, what do I need to do different? And I have the tools now to know what to do that I didn't have even like a year or 2 ago. So I have the tools to figure out, okay, this is what I need to de-stress. And again, it all comes back to things like what's important to me and letting small things go that aren't important, keeping in mind my own goals and being true to myself, and also remembering that I'm doing the best I can at that point in time. And the last one is believe in yourself. It sounds a little bit cliche, but one of the most difficult things in writing is when you receive negative feedback. And I addressed this in my previous video, giving and receiving effective writing feedback. There's a lot of negativity out there, but when it comes to writing, you are the one who ultimately knows the most about what you are doing. That doesn't mean you know everything, certainly not, none of us do, but you have to, again, go back to what are your goals and being true to yourself. What is important to you with your writing, not letting somebody else tell you what is important. You've got this. So I know I've barely scratched the surface on what's a pretty complex topic, but I hope you find this video helpful. And if you do, please subscribe, like, comment, or share. Thank you.